The story begins in a sinister setting where someone is seen cleaning a slaughterhouse. Blood and teeth are seen falling. Later, 3 students, Paxton, Josh, and Ollie, are seen walking on crowded streets. Paxton and Josh are American students traveling through Europe with their Icelandic friend, Ollie. While that was the main reason for their trip, both Paxton and Josh had gone through painful breakups and were looking for a distraction or a way to get over them. In the Netherlands, they visited a nightclub in Amsterdam, followed by a brothel. After partying all night, the 3 return to their accommodation, but the man refuses to open the door for them because they are drunk. Fortunately, someone from the building next door calls them, and the trio decides to climb the walls of the building and enter the man's room through an open window. Inside the room, Ollie, Paxton, and Josh introduce themselves to the boy who invited them in, Alex. Here, Alex learns that the trio plan to pick up girls during their vacation. Alex tells them about a hostel in Slovakia, where girls chase after men, living like ants after sugar. And the best part is that they don't even have to pay because the women are in love with foreigners. The next morning, the 3 friends waste no time turning their imagination into reality and catch the first train to Slovakia. The 3 share a cabin, but they are joined by a Dutch businessman who engages in small talk and shows them a photo of his daughter. The boys tell the man about their plans to visit Slovakia, and he tells them that Slovakian women are fantastic. The situation gets even stranger when the man takes out a lunchbox and starts eating with his hands. The boys ask him if he needs a fork, but the man simply informs them that he likes to have a connection with something that dies for him. Suddenly, the man touches Josh's leg, which irritates him. The man hurriedly leaves, and the friends start laughing. Later, they arrive in Slovakia and are amazed when the surroundings look like a deserted wasteland with only derelict buildings. They get into a taxi to reach the city, where they can see many breathtaking tourist attractions. When they arrive at the hostel, the boys are astonished. The lobby they enter seems to be full of beautiful women. They check in with a beautiful receptionist, Vala, who informs them that they will share the room with other people. At the entrance to the room, they meet 2 girls named Natalia and Svetlana, and both girls invite the boys to join them in the spa. After spending time in the spa, they have fun at the nightclub. Ollie has a great time with the receptionist Vala. Shortly after that, Josh starts feeling a bit uncomfortable among them and goes out for some fresh air. Surprisingly, he encounters a group of not-so-friendly kids who try to intimidate him. Fortunately for him, he is saved by the businessman from the train, who pays them off. Josh offers to buy them drinks and expresses regret for behaving so irrationally during the train journey. Later that night, Paxton and Josh end up in bed with Natalie and Svetlana strangely. The next morning, they discover that their friend Ollie hasn't returned and find out that he checked out and left without saying anything. Furthermore, the 2 are approached by a Japanese girl named Kana, who shows them a photo of Ollie and his girlfriend Yuki, who is also missing. It seems Ollie left with some random Japanese girl. They then try to find out where he might be when they run into the group of dangerous kids again who demand gum, and Josh refuses to give them anything. Suddenly, they receive a message from Ollie saying that he's gone back home with a picture, but they don't know that Ollie's head is severed, while Yuki is being tortured by someone. Feeling that something is not right, Josh is eager to leave, but Paxton convinces him to stay one more night with Natalia and Svetlana. Paxton also invites Kana to join them on the train tomorrow, as they will be leaving at the same time. That evening, they decide again to go out with Natalie and Svetlana for a drink. While they are drinking, Josh starts feeling unwell and decides to return to his room. When he reaches the hallway, he starts feeling weak, and Vala the receptionist sends him to his room. A man is seen approaching the room and stands and stares at Josh, who passes out shortly after Josh leaves. Paxton also starts to feel unwell, but on his way to the club's restroom, he accidentally enters a storage room where he ends up locked inside just before passing out for the night, while Paxton sleeps. His friend wakes up in a torture chamber. Josh reacts in terror when he sees a masked man picking up a torture tool, a drill. Josh is then repeatedly drilled. The killer turns out to be the businessman from the train. He claims he has always wanted to be a surgeon but was rejected due to his shaky hands. The businessman removes Josh's restraints and opens the door, saying he is free to go. However, Josh immediately collapses to the ground because all his tendons have been cut. As he crawls, the psychopathic businessman kills him. Paxton wakes up, finally able to leave, and returns to the hostel. Strangely, he finds out that he has disappeared and requests another room. When he asks about the Japanese girl Kana, he finds out that no one has seen her. After getting another room, he is puzzled to find 2 new girls inviting him to the sauna, just like when they arrived. Having nothing else to do, he looks for Josh. He can figure out where Josh or Ollie might be from the photo he saw earlier, but his phone is taken by the group of boys. Frustrated, he seeks the help of the police, who inform him that they can't do anything at the moment to find his drunk friends. On his way back to the dorm, Paxton sees Natalia and follows her to a bar. He notices that Natalia is with Svetlana and tells them he wants to know where Josh and Ollie are. Natalia tells him that his friends are at an art exhibition and decides to accompany him. It's the same old building, the one Pax saw in a photo with Ollie and Yuki from his phone. Outside, there are many wealthy people coming and going with their bodyguards. Natalia leads him inside the warehouse to watch the show. However, when they enter, he is shocked to see his friend Josh being dissected by the man from the train. Paxton gets angry at Natalia, who laughs because she will receive a lot of money for bringing him there. While he is dragged by security guards, he is taken into a room and then tied to a chair. Soon, another businessman from Germany arrives, revealing that he bought Paxton just because he is American. Pax is impressed by the villain and even speaks his native language to beg him. He compliments Paxton on his intelligence but handcuffs him to prevent him from speaking. Fortunately for Paxton, the torturer is not scared of the murder weapon. However, he quickly realizes that a chainsaw is enough as the man is about to tear Paxton apart. He realizes that he is choking on his own vomit, wishing to kill the man for himself, but the psychopathic torturer removes his gag and accidentally cuts 2 of Paxton's fingers. But then, the torturer slips on the vomit and falls, with the chainsaw falling directly on him. Paxton hurries to free himself and shoots the torturer in the head. Later, he calls for the guard, kills him with a gunshot, and takes the keys to finally free himself. He dresses in the businessman's clothes but hides as the guards search for him. He hides among the dead bodies being transported on a cart. Inside the processing room, he is shocked to see that Josh is next to be cut into pieces. As the butcher throws the pieces into the oven, Pax rises and confronts him, then escapes with an elevator and continues to move through the building, avoiding detection. He sneaks into his room where the torturers are disguised. Looking out the window, he realizes that the police know everything. He cleans up before disguising himself as one of their clients, while the guards have just realized that a prisoner has escaped. In the pockets of the jacket he took, Paxton finds a business card for the Elite Hunting Club, an organization that allows wealthy people to kill and torture tourists. Prices are even listed for each desired type of victim: $5,000 for a Russian, $10,000 for a European, and $25,000 for an American. Suddenly, an uncomfortable client approaches Paxton. He says it's his first time doing this, but it's already thrilling. He shows a tattoo that all clients should have and wants to see Paxton's, but fortunately, he is called away by the guards. Paxton takes the man's gun before leaving. Luckily for him, he finds a car with the keys inside. He hears Kanna's terrified screams coming from the warehouse. He turns back and runs back into the building. He encounters the man from earlier, who uses a welding torch on Kanna's eyes and shoots her. Paxton sneaks out of the warehouse with the injured girl and manages to remain undetected until he gets behind the wheel of the car. The other members of the organization notice them running and chase after them. The two manage to reach the highway, but the only safe way is to leave the town by train. Pax sees Natalia and Svetlana with Alex, the guy who told them to come to the hostel. He runs over them with the car, killing all except Natalia, who is then run over by the men chasing Paxton. Pax is then stopped again by the kids from earlier, but luckily, he has a whole bag of chewing gum in the car and gives it to everyone. When the criminals are stopped by the same kids, they think they are harmless but are brutally killed. Pax drives as fast as he can but hits a police checkpoint. He remembers that the police are corrupt and sneaks through a side door with Kanna before running through the woods to the train station. As he passes a mirror, Kanna, he sees her disfigured face and loses all hope. She ends her life by jumping in front of an approaching train. Seeing this distraction, Paxton takes the opportunity to board the train, and now he is safe. However, while sitting on the train, he hears a familiar voice and a conversation about preferring to eat with hands. The train stops in Austria, and Paxton follows the man and realizes that he is the Dutch businessman, the same one who killed his friends. He closely follows the businessman and realizes that he is meeting with his young daughter. He is consumed by a desire for revenge as he waits for the man to enter the train station restroom. Shortly after that, when the man exits, he realizes that his daughter has disappeared and begins to panic, asking if anyone has seen her. The movie ends with Paxton and the child on another departing train.